On this episode of True Tales, I'm going to tell you the story of the haunted house. This is the haunting that is probably the worst I've ever seen in my entire life as a medium, as a psychic, period. This is the first time that I've ever seen spirits actively engage in a conspiracy to leech the energy off of its inhabitants. And um, yeah, pretty wild. So hang with me here. So I was invited to this family's home, and they had invited me over. And the night before, I said to Spirit, what am I working with? How many spirits am I going to be dealing with? And Spirit said four. So I said, okay. I go to the family's home and walk around, take this tour. It's gorgeous. It looks like a resort. It's beautiful, beautiful gardens, beautiful interiors. It's well appointed, very comfortable. I do not feel anything negative in this house. And I turn and I see one spirit standing in the light and kind of just like as if he's in a waiting room. And he's standing in this doorway, and there's a door, but he's standing in the doorway and he's standing kind of like next to the wall in the middle of this doorway area to come into the house. And I look at him and I say to this guy telepathically, like, why are you here? And he says, I'm waiting for somebody. So I said, okay, well, let's just call them forward. So close my eyes, do my prayer, call forward the loved ones. I call for Jesus, the angels, anybody who could bring them over. So they come over, the family, the light opens up, the family steps through, they take him away, and he's gone. But like, he made me feel like he wanted to leave, but he didn't know how to leave. And he was waiting for this woman. And so I tell the people who invited me over, the lady of the house, there's a spirit here and he's like doesn't know how to leave. I feel like he's stuck, and he was waiting for somebody who I think is his wife, and I describe him as tall, brown hair, blah blah blah. And the owner is like, well, I think the man who used to own this home, who built this house, he had died here. His wife had died somewhere else. So he had died before, and the wife died in a hospital afterwards. And she's like, but I don't think he was tall. I think he was short. So that must not be him. But a quick Facebook search later revealed it was him. And she's like, then she thinks about it for a second. She goes, you know what? When we bought this house, there used to be a door right there where that guy was standing. But as soon as we bought it, we shut the door. Like we teared it out and put in drywall. So there's no more door there. So that was like the confirmation of like the guy couldn't get out, because in his mind he must have felt like that's the way out. You know, when you have a house and you go through the garage and that's like your main door, that's what it felt like for me. So he was gone. And then there was nothing else at the house. So I felt like, okay, mission accomplished. So we have this gorgeous lunch and it's just delicious, one of the best meals I've ever had, and having a convivial time. And then they're like, okay, so let's go to the other house that we lived at. I'm like, oh, yeah, they wanted me to go see another house. I've completely forgotten. So we head over, we walk over to this house they used to live in. They do not own it. It belongs to a friend, but they lived in it to take care of it for this friend. And it's huge. And so as soon as we walk on the property, I'm already getting feelings. I'm getting compressions. I'm feeling like not good. And I'm like, I don't know about this. But I follow them through, and everything's kind of grown over and jungly and abandoned looking. And you could see that they like mow it from time to time, but everything's just overgrown. Bamboo, the forest of trees, everything is overgrown. And so we get to like the front door, and there's a storage room that is right next to the front door. So if you're looking at me, the storage room here, and like against this wall is the front door. So where I am, the man opens the door and I see this gigantic portal spinning this way. So if you or me, it's going like this. And it's like spinning and it looks gray and smoky and dirty at the same time. And I look at my husband, and my husband, who doesn't see anything, is not a medium and not a psychic, just says to me, like, I'm not going in there. Like, it feels terrible in there. I'm not going in there. Something feels wrong. And like the man's just kind of like showing us and everything. I'm like, I'm not going in there. There's something weird. Like there's like this portal that's spinning right there. So there's this little neighbor dog named I think I could just call him Mr. Boo, and he's like this little dog that follows the neighbors around, and he like comes with us. And the Appalachians say like if never go into a room a dog won't go into. Well, the Mr. Boo is just walking around like a little chihuahua walking around, and I'm like, come here, Mr. Boo. I walk into the kitchen and the living room, and it's kind of fine, right? There's nothing really going on. It's like there's nothing wrong. It's a big house, right? And it has like this 1970s sunken living room on the right. You go in and it's just like this big empty living room. You go on the left and there's like this kitchen with these giant um counters, tiles, and it's a really nice kind of kitchen. But for some reason, it has like these really like haunting a Hill House bad vibes. And out of my right eye, I can see a spirit of a woman wearing black moving from the kitchen where she's not really visible, but kind of visible to the back hall. I could feel her and I could see her moving. And all of a sudden I'm thinking in my head, oh, it's the energy's that way. And then the lady of the house says, well, we didn't really have that much paranormal activity here. Most of it was in the hallway. I'm like, hell yeah, I know that. I saw that. And I'm like telling Mr. Boo to come and follow me. And I go in the hallway and I'm just like looking straight at the end of the hallway, a very long hallway, a shining hallway. And I have my red rum moment with this spirit, a woman spirit at the end of the hall, who is like in her, I want to say like late 30s, early 40s, couldn't be more than 45. She was wearing black, kind of old timey, and she had old timey hair. So it was kind of like timeless because it's like, I don't know, like Wednesday Addams kind of thing. It could be now, it could be 100 years from now. I don't know. And she just looks at me and she's mean. And she telepathically says to me, I'm a bitch. I'm like, are you for real? And at that time, she's like telepathically showing me all the times that she had haunted these people and that she was causing them problems. And at that point, I'm like, all right, Mr. Boo, this little chihuahua dog, let's go and let's go get her. And I'm like activated at this point, not because of ego, but almost like she's challenging me. So I'm walking with my spirit guides, I'm walking with my angels, I'm walking with God, and I'm like, let's go. Let's see what we could do. And as I'm walking towards her, she's walking back. I'm motivated to see what's going on with her, but all of a sudden, out my left eye, I see this bedroom and it's dark. And the man of the house goes in, and I immediately kind of pop my head and I don't go all the way. And I see like this, very much like the film Sixth Sense, where the guy who killed Bruce Willis, who's just kind of in this underwear and is like really decrepit and young and messed up, is in the corner. And I say to him, I was like, you know that there's like this man wearing underwear, dirty underwear in the corner, right? And he just like looks at me, and him and the lady of the house were like, yeah, one time I saw something big and dark in that corner and I didn't know what it was. And he's like, I thought it was a man. And I was like, well, you were right. And so I tell them what I saw at the end of the hall. And the lady of the house says to the man of the house, do you remember when your mom said that she saw a mean woman at the end of the hall? And then she was afraid to go down the hall after that. So that was like evidence one, evidence two. So I'm following this woman and she's backing up. She's walking backwards and then kind of turns and she goes towards the back. And you walk down this gigantic hallway, and this house is set up very much like the Winchester Mansion. It's like main house, addition, 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 and then additions on top of the other additions. So it was like very much like the Winchester Mansion, not cohesive, not organized, no central theme. Every room looks different. It's the same energy, which I think it shared this type of quality. And so I go down to this room. They walk me through this big bedroom into this bathroom that looks like a shower room from an insane asylum. And I'm like, who built this? And the guy was like, I did this. And I was like thinking, oh my God, this place is crazy. And anyway, so the woman, like, she's backed up. She can't get outside of the walls of this house. So she's backed up and then she tries to get up on me, the spirit, and she's like, showing me how she was just tormenting the people in this house and just giving me visions of these moments of torment, anguish, anxiety, stress, fear, depression, sleeplessness, all these things. And I'm just thinking, and I'm telling them everything she's telling me, and they're like, "That's exactly what we experienced in this house." And again, I'm telling you, they did not tell me anything about this house before I came. I was all virgin, all blank, knew nothing, nothing at all. And so they were like, "Yes, that was our life in this place for 13 years," which is another Winchester Mansion connection. And so she kind of backs off, she disappears, and I'm like, and I can physically feel two more presences in the house. So I said, well, let's go find where the other spirits are. So I go to another bedroom, and it has a second floor, a private access to a second floor. So there's a second floor in this place that is like a loft situation. So we go in, and then I see in a corner in like a wheelchair not a wheelchair, but a rocking chair, like this old woman in this black outfit, just kind of rocking in the corner, staring out the window and making me feel like nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to ever get better. It's always going to stay the same. I'm stuck forever, just where I am. And it's like this mental energy. And so I tell the woman that that's what I'm feeling and that's what I'm sensing here. So I said, well, let's go find the last one, which is like kind of like a thin old man. But honestly, it's like weird because if you were to give him a gender, it's like almost male and female, like a social construct, but sex from birth, male energy. So I go in to the other room and go up the stairs to this private loft that's in this other bedroom. And I see all four of the spirits conspiring together. And I'm looking at them going, all of y'all are crazy on your own. One would assume that these spirits have no intention of working together, that they're all selfish and they kind of do their own thing. No, in fact, all of these spirits come together and terrorize everybody in the house, most specifically the vulnerable. And I think that they targeted the man and the woman of the house because my feeling and what I was shown later was like their heartbeats. They could hear their heartbeats, they could feel their energy, and they were going to leech off of them in order to stay earthbound. And so I'm seeing these four spirits up there, and I start to come down the stairs, and I look at them both, and I said, whatever happened between the both of you in this house, I want you to know that any arguments that you might have had, or even bouts of anger or depression, that was not you. And if you were fighting, just know that that was not because of you. It was because these spirits tried to scare you, lower your vibes, and then leech off of it so they can continue to be here. So you were basically being energy harvested for these selfish spirits. And they looked at each other and they were just like 100% validated for all the time that they were there. Because you can imagine being a couple and having a hell of a time for 13 years in this house, not knowing what the heck's going on, thinking that everything that you've ever experienced is some kind of character flaw, or that the other person is wrong, or that you made mistakes and you're punishing yourself, whatever, or that there's something wrong with you when in fact you're being used and manipulated energetically by disincarnate spirits. And they looked at each other, they looked at themselves, and then they said, I forgive you, I forgive myself. And it was like the coolest moment ever. And so then we went back to the main living room, and they told me another story about the day that the man of the house's father had died. They had seen this like cloud floating outside, floating in, and then floating away. And then a few minutes later, they found out that the father had died. And so they had that paranormal experience, and I had my dowsing rods. And I said, look at this. And I have my dowsing rods like this. And I'm holding them, I'm not moving them. I am staying right still. And the dowsing rods, both of them are spinning like this. And everyone's looking at it. My husband, the man, the woman in the house, they're looking at it. And I'm telling them there is not only some kind of portal, this is a vortex. And you can see this energy spinning. And so we walk outside, and I can just feel their fear and anxiety and their stress. And we were outside, and then like Frank had moved something, and I just got such a terrible fright from it that I just screamed, which is not really like me. I mean, I'm over dramatic sometimes and silly when loud things happen, but this time I was like, I could feel like how on edge they were. And I explained to them, I was like, explained to the lady at the house, I was like, my feeling is, knowing what I know now and seeing what I've seen, I bet you $1,000,000 that you guys went to the hospital a lot. You were sick often, you were depressed, and you had bad luck. things just happened, they broke or whatever. And she was like, yes, every single thing. Accidents, broken body parts, like bad luck, going to the hospital, everything that I had described. She was like, yes, yes, yes. So we had left, and I was so shook from that experience because it really was like the film The Haunting of Hill House, or a Netflix series. It was really like that, like these spirits that are just messing with these individual ones. And by a miracle of God, the couple's kids turned out fine. My feeling is that the mother and the father took the brunt of it so they could spare the kids. And it really affected their health, well-being, and their relationship and their careers. Once they got out of the house and bought a new house and worked on it and built it, like their whole life completely transformed. Their relationship is great. The kids are good. Like the home is fine. Like their business is good and thriving, like success. So I was just telling them, I was like, look, there's a big difference from that house to this house, that environment from this environment. And you guys were being leached. And that's the reason why you were suffering and having such a hard time. So this particular couple felt very validated, vindicated, and affirmed that no, they're not crazy. No, they're not bad people. No, they don't have misfortune. No, they're not being punished. But they did experience something paranormally wild. Now, me as a psychic medium for so many years, I don't have a lot of paranormal investigation experience in the United States. Like I've done a bunch of stuff, but I worked primarily as an energy therapist. And so whatever in that context was necessarily, I used that. So now I'm here in France. I do a lot of paranormal investigations, and it's really fun. It's a fun way to explore and to do something new and different. But this was like the worst experience I've ever seen. And I know I've seen other mediums have paranormal investigations, and they too have uncovered earthbound entities wreaking havoc. But this was for me my first time experience. I um I don't even know what to say. Like I can't even really explain it. What's the follow up for this besides them being vindicated? Something has happened, right? So I went home and I prayed, and I went to Lourdes, and I saw that God had like put a stake on this earth of like this is my land. This is where people can come in and be healed, and bad things won't happen here. And that we could do that anywhere on earth. Like we're not just limited to Lourdes, but there was this really strong energetic stake of love and health and well-being at Lourdes. And I saw an angel there, I saw Mother Mary there. So I'm not even going to say I believe in Lourdes. Like I know I've seen it, I experienced it. Lourdes is a real deal place. If you ever get the chance to go, you should go. I sell holy water in flasks from my shop. I'm putting that out there in case you cannot afford. Contact me. I'll mail it to you. Um, but I can't even say I believe it. I've seen it, I experienced it, I know it, right? So I prayed and I said, God, this is your earth, this is your planet, that is your house. Whatever you did at Lord, you can do at this place. Whatever you do at Lord's for those people and you can do for me, you can do at this place and you can do for these people. And I just prayed and I gave it to God, because at the end of the day, it's Joel Goldsmith always says that you don't do the work, God does the work through you. And I think that if we surrender ourselves to the power of the light and the love that is the universe, that uniting force, that transforming force, and we become vessels for it, good things can happen through us in our actions and our choices. So I made that prayer, and then I saw this big, clear, energetic hand of light. Not a white hand, not a brown hand, a light hand go like this over the house. All the way down, all the way down through the ground. I kind of wonder if aliens were involved in creating this vortex and the spinning thing. I don't know. I really don't know. I can only tell you exactly what I saw. I only, the facts, and that's it. I can't make assumptions. I can't tell you the conclusions of what I think. I cannot tell you the origins of these things that I experience, but I experienced them. So take of it what you will. If you've had similar experiences, would love to know. If you know or get an intuitive hit on what you think I experience, please let me know in the comments or even write me. I have loved getting your emails and having private meetings with the people who have watched and validated. It's been so cool. But that was the worst haunting experience I've ever seen in my life. So if somebody says I saw something and I was haunted, yeah, and it's funny because I'm a psychic medium. I'm always kind of skeptical myself because I need to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? And so I've seen it, I believe it, I know it, I've been through it, I got the t-shirt, and I can say with confidence that everything that I reported to these homeowners and renters was like, yes, validated from their experience too. And sometimes it's nice to help people really get validation for their experiences and that they don't feel crazy. So that's my true tale of the haunting here in Castelnaudary. Have you ever experienced a haunting? Have you ever been to a place like that? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you are doing great. Thanks for writing in. Thanks for your comments. If you enjoy these stories, subscribe. Bye, guys.